here we are coming down here to finish up getting a new HVAC system installed on a new house. We're going to get everything soldered in, get it wired up, and see if we can get it all running. We're going to get ready to set up for brazing our nitrogen through the system. We're going to go ahead and take these Schrader cores out. We're going to take our yellow charging hose, put it here on the system, then we'll connect it to our nitrogen tank that has a low CF regulator on it to allow it to braze with nitrogen without blowing the solder out. Recording. You like to use reamers like this so that way you don't scar anything on the inside of it. It's not as important for this, but on mini splits where you're making flares, you want to keep as much as you can from damaging anything on this inside. So what we got to do now is we need to get that 7/8 copper.
Yeah.
So that way we can get it brought here and then offset down into here. So you get that roll of copper up there. Go ahead and bring them both down. And we're going to use our nice ratchet bender set here. It's pretty nice and cool. Except that ain't gonna be long enough.
Maybe.
And it's just a little bit of an offset right there. We need to cut about 24 inches off of it. It's easy if you sit it down on the ground and roll it. Just when you're doing this, just cut real lightly. Don't send it home. We will need that insulation. Here.
Can I go ahead and slit this?
Yeah, go ahead. Would you like to use a sharp knife?
Yeah. Sure would. I guess I can stop this for a second, can I?
Yeah.
What do I do, hit the red button?
Just hit the button on top. Whenever you're getting ready to set up your torches, you want to set your acetylene, turn your valve on, and you want to set your acetylene for, I normally set it around 8 psi. And then your oxygen, you want to set for about 20 psi on your regulated gauge. So we're getting ready to start brazing this in. We've got our nitrogen set up, flowing through the system. The end door is already being brazed in. We're going to get to working on getting everything tied in out here. There's about what you want. You want to see a tip like that. Start this. I like to start where my nitrogen's coming from. So even if I would have put it on the liquid line, I'd have started up here and went that way. Because essentially what you're doing with the nitrogen is pushing out the oxygen so it don't form carbon on the inside of this line. Get it good and hot. Drop the solder. A little bit of technical issues. See, since we done this swedge right here, you've only got one joint to solder instead of two. And since I'm impatient, I just periodically test to see when we're getting good and warm. Because you want your copper to melt the solder. You don't want You don't want to take your torch and just melt it to it because it's not going to stick with it. Then we've got that's going to your evaporator. Now we're coming back. We're going to hit this spot right here. Three-eighths don't take near as long to heat up. 7/8 does. Anytime you can swedge, I try to do it just because it saves you a fitting for when you do really need it. And again, you've got less places to solder. Normally I'd put like some heat block on this, but I'm effectively out of it.
Is it gonna hurt it?
No. It's more of a good practice thing. Yeah, it'll catch paint on fire. There you go.
That back one probably wasn't in that shot. Oh yeah, it was. Barely.
We just got done brazing in. We're going to pressure check our joints. Make sure we're all good. We've got our nitrogen set up. We've just got a pressure gauge right here on the end. We're going to run it to probably about just 150 psi for what we're doing. And that way we can get a good check on our joints because I already know everything inside is good. Now we'll go up to 200. So you see we stopped at 200 here on our gauge. We'll just shut this off because I don't have another ball valve in the system. Take your bubbles, leave it on this small stream setting, get some out, just gently squeeze, because if you do this, you won't have any bubbles on your joint. Because that's what you're hunting for. You're hunting for bubbles, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can sit here and spray all your joints, and at 200 psi out here, as quiet as it is, we would hear it. There wouldn't be no doubt about that. But see, if you put it on this spray setting,
You don't do nothing.
and how's that gonna help you? So leave it on the stream, just squeeze it nice and easy. Normally I would check everything with a mirror, but I was pretty confident about all this.
Yeah.
We're gonna let it set for about 15 minutes while we clean up some of our stuff and go over here and look at a couple things. And then we'll be back to see if we're still setting at 200. All right, we've set here, we're still setting at 200 psi. We'll go ahead and get ready to drain the system. And then we're going to put a vacuum on it.
Didn't they put in that? Really tank? Where'd the oil go?
So here we've got our Yellow Jacket bullet vacuum pump with 2 of the Appion Mega Flow hoses. We're going to get connected on this thing, see how fast we can pull a vacuum on it. We've put some Nylog on the service ports on both the vacuum pump and on the system. That way it just helps reduce any kind of leaks that we may have as far as faulty gaskets. They all look pretty good. We've inspected them, but it never hurts to have it on there. That's good.
We really should have tilted that thing.
Alright, so we're working on getting our vacuum hoses set up. We've got our vacuum pump with the 2 Appion Mega Flow hoses. We've got our core tools on there. We've put some Nylog on each of the connections. That way it just helps seal it up good. All the gaskets look good, but it never hurts to have it. We always take the cores out of the service ports just because they create a massive restriction whenever you're charging, pulling a vacuum or anything. It slows everything down. And it's really efficient to be able to take them out and just get things done a whole lot quicker. And it just pulls a better vacuum. I mean, it just keeps all the restrictions out of the line and saves you time. That way you can go ahead and get your job done and go on about your day. So we're going to get this thing on vacuum. We'll come back later whenever you get it pulled down. Just to show how quick this setup will pull down, we're at 23 seconds and we're at 1500 microns. So it pulls down pretty quick. Alright, so we've got this thing pulled down to 200 microns. We went ahead and done our electrical connections while we've been waiting. We're going to get this unhooked, go ahead and get the refrigerant put in the system, finish up a couple of things inside, and we're going to go ahead and get ready to start this thing up. So what we're going to do here is we'll go ahead and take the micron gauge off. Get these valves shut off. You can turn your pump off and go ahead and get rid of them. I've done put my Allen wrenches in here. So we're going to crack this thing open and go ahead and let the refrigerator down. I'm just backing all the way out. This is going to be snug,
But it won't come out, right?
it won't come out. Leave this on. Do not take that off. Open up our service port. For another 3 days. Put our caps back on. And we'll go inside, get some stuff finished up, and then we'll look at the final picture of it whenever we're ready.